I had this experience where my great grandmother, who was into herbs and healing and remedies, and she would always do that to the whole family because, doctors and all that, being farm workers, we didn't really have medical. Anyways, one time she put what looked like a dirty, crumbled up aspirin from the medicine cabinet on my chin, where they said I cut myself. And after that, I started having mental disabilities, emotional disabilities, where I couldn't focus, I couldn't think, I couldn't study this was around 7 years old, and I couldn't study my math and English and all those things. I almost didn't even understand what the teacher was talking about. And when I became a preteen, that's when I remembered that. And I always wondered, why would she do that when she was into herbs and all that? And I thought, it always bugged me. But anyways, when I became a Christian, of course I forgave you. They teach you to forgive, And then when I became a membership in the organization, they taught you to detach, or now what we call be indifferent to it. And as of course I love my great grandmother as much as any grandson, but I always wondered, why did she do that? It just didn't make sense, and it always bugged me. And this is for 60 years that I've been thinking that. And I try to let it go. I try to be indifferent. I try to work around it. I try to break or dissolve contracts or agreements of it affecting my learning capabilities. And so about 2 weeks ago, I was in the backyard pruning. I was pruning some branches near the gate area. And all of a sudden, as I was pruning, all of a sudden my awareness started to move in slow motion. And I thought, what's this? Why is my awareness moving in slow motion, even though my body was pruning the branches? And all of a sudden I said, oh, I think I better stop. I think something wants to tell me something. And all of a sudden, like a portal opened up in front of me, and I saw when I was a little boy, and my true self and my personal self went in there, and I went inside the body of my little boy self, and I'm at my cousin's house where my great grandmother lived. And I went to the incident where it happened, and when I was there, with this new awareness, with my personal awareness and my true self, I noticed that the kids in the street, it was twilight hour, and my cousins had a light pole in that particular part of the block. They had a light pole, so all the kids would gather around the light pole to play either hide and seek or tag or just run around, and then the older kids would play basketball. Well, for some reason I got hurt, and I don't remember getting hurt, but all of a sudden my cousins, they gathered around me and they said, oh, we need to take you to great grandma to heal that little hurt that you have on your chin. And I noticed this time, that they were not speaking with their lips. And also I noticed I didn't feel like I was walking. I go, hey, I don't feel like I'm walking. It felt almost like I was just 2 or 3 inches off the ground and moving, but I didn't feel walking. And they have a stairs to the house, and I still didn't feel like I was walking on stairs. But I also noticed that behind me, where all the kids were playing, was total silence. Just total, complete silence. No kids were playing, nothing, just quiet, unusually quiet. And then I noticed also that my cousins, who are between 3 and 5 years older than me, they were all the same size as me. And I'm like, what? My cousins aren't that small. So with this awareness, with my true self, I was noticing this. Then all of a sudden we're in the bathroom where the medicine cabinet is, and my great grandmother's already there waiting. And I thought, well, I wonder how that happened. all of a sudden I noticed that it's not my great-grandmother. It's this tall being that's either 7 or 8 feet tall. It has grayish looking skin. It has big eyes, almost like the grays, and it has a wig or something that looks like a wig for hair. And then it has this tubular looking dress. So I thought, this is something feminine, I guess. And I noticed that I'm not afraid. I'm not shocked to see it with this awareness that I came with. And behind the being is something like a glass door that's 8 to 9 feet tall, but it has something like so you can't see through the glass, something blurry, but you can see the lights coming from there. And then I noticed that this is not the bathroom of my great-grandmother. This is some kind of room, and it's all black. And then this alien being goes to like what looks like the medicine cabinet. And I thought that that's strange that the medicine cabinet is half medicine cabinet and half this black box. And it keeps going back and forth where it changes between the medicine cabinet and this black box. The illusion or whatever the illusion they were giving me wasn't working right. And all of a sudden she has these really scary looking fingers, and she gets something from the black box, but at the same time I'm seeing it's the medicine cabinet, and she picks up the pill that's half corroded from one side, but the other side it's not a pill, it's something else, but I can't see what it is. She puts it on my chin, and I noticed that I'm not like afraid of looking at these scary fingers. And then all of a sudden, I don't know how, but I'm back home. I wake up and I'm back home, and I don't know how I got there. And because my cousins live like 7 to 10 blocks away. And all of a sudden, my mom comes from working in the cannery, and she lets out this scream, and she grabs me and takes me to the hospital. I don't know how we got to the hospital. I don't remember that part. And the next day, I see that these nurses are helping me, cleaning me up, and they're putting this medication on me that smells really strong with these towels, these hot towels, and it burns my chin. And I thought, oh, wow, that hurts. And so I touched my chin and noticed that there's a big old ball, like a softball, a little bit bigger than a baseball, if for people that know what a softball is. And as they're putting it on, days by days, it's shrinking. But at the same time, there's this strange woman dressed in hospital like a nurse, and she's real tall because the other ones are like shorter than her. And she has black hair. As she walks by the room where I'm at, she keeps giving me these weird stares that feel like daggers going in my mind or my body. And I don't know what those are. With this new awareness, I could just see that. Then after going back to school, I noticed that I could not understand what the teacher was talking about in math, and then I know how to do at that age, because my cousins had taught me, I know how to do math. I know how to do multiplications, adding, subtracting, spelling. I knew how to do it, and now I didn't know how to do it. So now I see what really happened and not what I had the memory of happening. And then I was shown that from a 360-degree point of view, the isness is spreading slowly but surely throughout my awareness in order to either dissolve, heal all these traumatic things that happened to me as a child and as a preteen. I won't say the other entity things that I've gone through, because that's like a nightmare. But this one I felt that I could share. So when I saw that, all of a sudden this tremendous trauma, tremendous stress lifted out of me, just like it was never there. And so I'm grateful for that. But now there's another mystery of these aliens that you think you're seeing one thing, one memory, and it's not really that. I don't know why. Now I'm curious to know why they did that. What was the purpose? What was the point of that? So that's another level of whatever I need to go through. But from this point of view, I have tried to either dissolve the agreements, dissolve the contracts, while the business is working on another part of me where it's going to like the center of my being and then spreading out in slow motion. Because I was wondering, with all these experience, I should be able to, how do you say, universal position, and I just knock out when I try to do it consciously. But it only happens when either the guides want me to know something, my intuition wants me to know something, my true self wants to know me to know something. But it never happens like when I want to consciously, deliberately do an universal positioning intent. But anyways, that's my little experience of how business is working through me. Thank you.
Hey, Ramone, thank you. Yeah, that's very, very good, actually. There's many views on that. So, you know, things happen here. This is what's taking place. Things happen. And so our personal mind has the question, just like you had for many, many years. And when it's time, when you're okay with it, all of a sudden you see it, you wake up to it. And so that's just part of the process. But as we go through experiences, as we have them, it's many, many years later or lifetimes later that the wake up occurs. And so that's all that matters. That's all that really matters. Now, the personal mind, again, it has its own life, and you see that. And it questions things and it wants to know, etc. And, you know, just like you studied your math and you knew it, then all of a sudden you didn't. Well, just that alien there, good, bad, or indifferent, it was a control factor. You can see that. He interrupted and he disguised himself as your grandmother and impregnated you, just like he does everybody, just like these aliens do everybody in Tapline, and most people aren't aware of it. They think that they're just okay, but they're on just a flat surface, one-dimensional view here with their personal life, and that's all they have. And until they wake up and discover something else, they won't have anything else. They'll just grow old, and they won't know anything, and they'll pop over to some dimension, astral world, whatever, and they won't know what to do there either because they haven't prepared. So it's not a belief system. We know that. It's actual experience, but now is your time to see it. And the time factor from that so-called time till now, what is it? It's zero. Doesn't exist because everything is now. And the universal position, it's an isness. It's not a matter of, you know, just like your experience there. It's kind of like from here to there. Well, universal position is just as you see the sun shining. It's not moving. It's not going anywhere. It is. And it's just a recognition, you see? And so, again, we've been taught in the aspect of projection or moving from here to there. It's like, oh, if I go over there, I got it. And just like Jeremy's experience recently, he finally figured it out that, oh, he had this mountain in front of him. And he realized, I don't have to climb this mountain. And it's so true, you don't. Those are the old ways. If you want to climb the mountain on the real side, go ahead and climb it and struggle up it. I have, and many times in the past. And at some point I realized, you know what, I'm not doing this anymore because I already have the view. What the heck do I have to go up there to have the same view as I have right here? So see, again, we go through these aerobics until we recognize that we're right in the center of what all is. And it's a recognition, and it's nothing that the personal self can figure out. So you have this objective view with the real you and the personal self, and you see how the personal self is. It's like a puppet character, and it doesn't know anything, but personally it thinks it does, but it really doesn't. It has no idea where it is, why it got here, how it was created, and what it's doing here, and what creation is. Has no idea at all. But we're told things, and we accept them as a reality, but they're not so. And so this is a very good experience. I suggest you write it, or Jeremy write it, or Kelsey, or whatever. It's a very good objective experience. of the isness, nowness, what life is. And, we're trying to show people how to get out of the time frames that they think in and are attached to. It's like as you get older, you talk about, those happy times when you were young. Well, that's fine. That's all fine. But you've framed all that in a particular way to where you just keep going, even into the future, and you don't know where you're at because you don't recognize. So, yes, gradually, as you're willing, just like you see, the isness comes in, but it's doing it very gradually. The real awareness life is, because you need time to assimilate it. You need time to assume it. You need time to go back and forth with your personal self to compare and see the difference. Just like night and day, you figure it out. Oh, gee, it's daytime, it's nighttime. You have the two to figure out. So now you have what's real, the real awareness, and creation and all that's taking place. And yeah, it's a huge journey. But your experience is very, very good, objectively. See, I'm standing over here and I'm watching the movie as you're explaining it. You're in the middle of it. It's different. The hardest thing is for us to see ourselves. But when you hear other people's experiences, you have the objective view because you're already detached. But when you have the experience, you're in the experience, and it's different because you have feelings, thoughts, ideas, assumptions about it. Of course you do. And you're thinking in terms of, just like it bothered you, whether it bothered you or not, or if you knew it was an alien at that time, did you still understand what was going on? No, because that all equals your real awareness to see and be, because everything in creation relates to all life and what it is, to recognize it. But while we're here, we think it's this or that or whatever, hocus pocus, this, systems and all these things. Yeah, fine, that's just creation. But once you have the awareness to see that it all relates to recognizing the endless isness, you see, that's the best part. So it doesn't matter if it's an alien or it's your neighbor, it's your grandmother or not, you see. But the personal self held to that because that's all you know. But now you know that really doesn't matter what it was. So now you see what took place. Okay, whoopee-doo. But this is a good experience for you and others to see that, hey, don't matter. It's just another body type. African, American, alien, Chinese, whatever, reptilian body types. And it's that awareness there that we want to relate to, because that's how we free ourselves from the restrictions of the creation of the personal self. But we had to create that, just like the caterpillar goes through the process of creating that cocoon to go through that process, and then that butterfly struggles out. When it's ready, it struggles out of that cocoon, and that's what we're doing here. But it's a huge journey. So fortunately, right now, the process I went through, I've recognized what to do and present this. And so we all have this opportunity right now, and it's huge. This is why there's only a few of us here, and it's a lot. So again, the recent group I wrote, risk takers, you have to be a risk taker. No more member shrimps. No more member shrimps and all this stuff and beliefs and worshiping and praying and all this nonsense. You have to be a risk taker to see what life really is. And the sun, again, is the best example, isn't it? Yeah, doesn't bother anybody. When you look at it, is there happiness or belief there or love or any of those things? No, it's better than that. It's free of all restrictions. So people chase freedom here, which there is none. It's an illusion. You're in cause and effect creation. You can't nail it down in any which way, but you can learn to let go of the restrictions to see what's real with your real awareness. And see, the best part is, yes, objectively, you listen and see others, just like I was saying to Jeremy on the real side. This way you have an objective view of yourself as to how to let go of the restrictions. It's not chasing something. This is where people chase things into future lifetimes. They don't realize it. All these projected ideas, it goes into future lifetimes until they learn to be now. And just be now, just like the sun shining. It's not going anywhere. It's an isness, but it's only a reference to what is real, and learning to really recognize that, not just know it in your head, but sincerely recognize it and see how this awareness is, how this isness is. That's a big journey, but yes, thank you very much. A very good example of, and for you and for everybody, as the objectivity of it, and also, yes, realizing that it doesn't matter what it is, but now you see what it is, okay? So it's just like your grandma put your clothes on backwards, and you always wonder why. Why does she do that? Well, I mean, things happen. One of the book titles in NUUU is "Sorry, It's the Earth." You know, got this little cartoon character on the front cover, shrugging his shoulders up, because that's what it is here. Things happen, and so as you're stumbling around, take the time to really learn to see what's going on, but you need the real guidance because it's huge. And so we have it here. And my whole life is about gratitude. Every single moment I'm so grateful that I know. Because look at all the people that don't know, and they take everything for granted and they don't care. So learning to see what life is, that is precious. And it's not a belief, it's not an idea, it's not a worship, it's all none of this nonsense we went through. We went through that just like we went through kindergarten, grade school, high school, finally got out, and we look back and go, what the hell did I learn? It's all nonsense. Yeah, so what are you learning here? And then you have your degrees and everything else, and you keep going. What are you learning? Oh, you got a job and a career, that's why you came here? That's not it. So you got to figure out why you came here first. But most people, they don't care. They don't want to make waves. They want to stay ignorant, whatever. Well, that's choice, isn't it? Choice is a big deal. So you stepping up and sharing this, I see it as very important. Thank you, Ramone. Thank you, Jeremy.